Oké, meneer check, nee, jy moet nou weer sê. Check net gaan na kop.
Wat check?
Die klank sê net gaan weer net gaan.
I just want to do a quick sound check. If the people out there, our online audience, will just confirm that they are hearing us. Yeah, a great word of welcome to all of you. It was absolutely awesome to have the past 3 weeks, and then today to have our final meeting where we really just felt that there's a need to inspire the agents. And for all of us, whether you're an agent or not, I think we all need a little bit of inspiration just to run the final stretch of a year, to end motivated and to end the year on a good note. Our first speakers were all local people on our previous sessions, and then I thought about now getting this Pretoria girl to end our thing. And then fortunately I realized she's not that Pretoria. She actually grew up in the Eastern Cape. She's a good friend of Sonia, where they went to school together. So Lynette, very, very welcome here. Lynette is she focuses on, apart from being an inspirational and a motivational speaker, she focuses on dialogue and helping people to understand their different personality types, to avoid conflict and to build relationships, which is something we all can learn. There's always room for improvement if it comes to relational work. We're really looking forward to hearing what Lynette has to say. Welcome to our loyal supporters who's been locking in through the internet, specifically some of our offices which are away, Port Alfred and so on. We're really grateful to see that you've been supporting us every week. And we really look forward to hearing what Lynette has to say. Welcome, Lynette.
Thank you.
Too much. Ek weer opnodig.
Kyk maar my vat. Vat maar my. Los dat hy my vat.
Hy was skrikker dat sien ek vir ander vrouens.
It is his temperament. Good morning. Are you well? Okay, let's try again. Are you well or are you blessed? I like that. You know what is the meaning of being blessed? Who can define being blessed? Empowered to prosper. Say again. Empowered to prosper, yes. You live your life in such a way that when people look at you, they envy your life. Isn't that wonderful? So the mere fact that you said that you are blessed, I trust that when people look at you, they envy your lives. So thank you so much for the invitation. This being my place, it's always nice to visit, but I really want to go home after this. Ek het my hare so gespuit, dat as jy aan dit vat, dan, ja, ek weet nie wat gaan met jou hand gebeur nie, maar ek gaan sukkel om dit weer skoon te kry. Maar nietemin. Welcome to the people that are watching from the other side. I trust today that what I'm about to share with you will enlighten you, and that it will be a blessing to you, and that you will forever remember this. Muhammad Ali was on the airplane. Then the air hostess stopped next to him and she said to him, Mr. Ali, will you please fasten your seatbelt? He looked at her and he said, Superman ain't need no seatbelt. Where she answered and she said, but Superman ain't need no aeroplane. So I believe that sometimes people expect from us to be Superman and to be Wonder Woman. Now, unfortunately, it is not always that easy to be Superwoman and to be Superman. But I believe that the moment you realize that you actually do have a superpower within you, and if you know what that superpower is, then you really can fly and you really can be super. Sê hulle. Sê vir hulle, ons sê ook hulle. Nevertheless, did you hear what I just said? We all have some kind of a superpower within us. To that part, I will get to the second part of what I want to share with you. Now, I want to ask you, have you ever been at a place where you wanted to change your behavior? Good. We have two in the room. So, there was this woman. She was a colored lady. Her name was Mina, and she was from Uppington. And Lynette and Tannie Hannetjie Vrey were also from Uppington. And he worked on the South African Railway, for the South African Railway Services. And Tannie Vrey, she just did not work out. There's a difference, apparently. So now, they loved the Lord and they loved the kingdom. And they had this burning desire to do kingdom work. So, every Sunday, Lynette Vrey, he had these sermons for the people, and they had a building, but it wasn't a nice place to worship. And when he went on pension, those years, it was like 30,000 rand. He took a tenth of that money and he used it to make the place a proper worship place. But Mina always sat in nearly every sermon. But she sat on the right-hand side where you are sitting right now. And when Lynette had this thing at the very end of a sermon to invite the people to the front so that he could pray for them. Ja? Het iemand al vir jou gebid? Jy kan bly wees, anders het ek nou 'n voorbeeld van jou gemaak. Maar jy's grand hoor, kyk net hierdie hairs. Hulle is eers gespuit hier. Ja, you've got lovely hairs. Nevertheless, en jy lyk baie grand, funky. Ja. Goed, so nevertheless. So, now every time after his sermon, he invited the people to the front and then he asked whether he could pray for finances or maybe sickness in the body or whatever emotional problem they had. But every time he asked Mina, what can I pray for? It was always the same prayer. Doen jy dit ook? Okay. So you are the right person. You're Mina. But it was always the same for months. And one morning when he invites the people to come to the front again, she was the very first one again to come to the front. And then he thought, ach, Here nee man. I don't know how to pray for her because every time it is the same prayer. He didn't know how to pray and he thought, my goodness, the fault it's not lying with me because I am connected. God, you must know I am connected. And the problem cannot be God, so the only problem can be me now. And he didn't know how to pray to make it different. And then the words of Einstein came to his mind, and Einstein said, it is insanity if you keep on doing the same thing over and over, yet you expect a different outcome. Julle weet mos waarvan ek praat. Julle bly voeter in 'n area en dit werk en julle bly daar. You keep on saying the same things and it doesn't work for you, but you keep on doing that. Now that, according to Einstein, is insanity. I'm just saying you do it. I'm just using it as an example. Please don't look at me now differently from just moments before. So, and then he thought maybe he must just ask Mina because there's a possibility that in the week that went by, she could have got deliverance. So he just wanted to make sure that it was the very same thing. So he asked Mina, so what can I pray for? Then Mina went like, oh, dat die Here my sal verlos van die sigaret. And it was the same prayer. She wanted to get deliverance from a cigarette. And then he said, Mina, it doesn't help that you have a desire. You need to work together for the deliverance. And you need to say no. She said, hallelujah. Just pray for me. And then he decided that he now needs to change the status quo. He It's to do something different. So he looked at the congregation and he said to the congregation, please, I want you to stand up. We've never stood up while I was praying for Mina. Today we're going to stand up. Stand up. Something different. He looked at the musicians behind him and he asked them to please stop the music. That's also different because normally they kept on playing the music. So the music was, he stopped it. And then he said to the congregation, please, he asked them to raise their hands to Mina, which they did. And then he asked the musicians to raise their hands to Mina. So he said, Minaatjie, today, jy's gedek van voor en van agter. Today a miracle will happen. She said, hallelujah. And then he prayed the following prayer. He said, Lord, I pray that whenever Mina reaches for another cigarette, that she will drop dead on the spot. That is a prayer. She went like, oh God, cancel, cancel, cancel. Yeah. But we are also like Mina, am I right? We say things, but do we really, really mean what we say? So you better be careful. Right. Now I want to ask you a few questions that will lead up to what I want to share with you. First thing, yeah, julle het dit dan klaar gesien. But did you know how many thoughts you think on a daily basis? Have you ever realized how many thoughts you think per hour? And how many per day? This is quite a shock. We think on an average, an average of 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. That means 2,500 to 3,300 per hour. Have you ever thought about that? That's a lot of thoughts. You see, if you want to reinvent your life, you need to know this. You need to be aware of your thinking. Because if you want to change your life, you need to change your thinking. So, here is the thing. Of the thoughts we think per day, let's make it per hour, 3,000 on average. Do you know that 80% of those thoughts are negative thoughts? Right? Now the very next day, you rethink. Hier is ons lekker plekkie voor, of wil jy daar agter sit? Hoekom soek mens altyd die agterste sitplek uit? Niks op jou nie, hoor? Jy's pragtig, jonk, mooi. Maar hoekom? Why do you think we always want to sit at the back? Hide away. But why? You need to change your thought patterns. What's that?
Ek sal sommer weer gaan sit as ek moet.
Ja, jy sukkel 'n bietjie, maar jy sit by jy maar net waar jy sit. Okay. But what I want to say is, we have this thing that when we enter, nothing against you. Jy verstaan, ek probeer 'n punt maak, man. We always want to hide at the back. Why? Not the front. It's the way you think. And because of the way you think, you do the way you think. But can you imagine 3,000 thoughts in 1 hour? 80% of those thoughts are negative. But the very next day, what do? The very next day, we repeat 95% of the previous day's thoughts. And that is why we keep on being in this negative cycle of where we are. This is COVID. This is now what COVID is. We just need to accept it. Now the business must be done. I mean, regtig, Marius, you can't expect me to bring in more business. For sake, you can't think like that because it is not necessarily true. What you need to do, you need to reinvent the way you are doing things and just do it different. I remember when the president announced that we will be in lockdown for 3 weeks. For that, but it was really quick, because I knew this stuff. I started crying, like 30 seconds, and then I said to myself, Netta, pull yourself towards yourself. And I said, Lord, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it was as if I heard his voice, what do you have in your hands? Just work with what you have. And then I thought, well, my thing is definitely relationships. I can teach people how to live together for 3 weeks, being together. Being a powerful person and a very peaceful person together. I can teach them how to live together. I can teach those people that are so perfect how to deal with those people that love life and that are loud. I can do that. And then I started doing videos of 3 minutes, 6 of them. You can watch it on YouTube. Only 6. I battled to do that because as I was ready and pushed to roll the camera, then dogs barked. And then I had to start all over. And then as I was like nearly to the end, then people was like using a hammer or a drilling machine, and then I had to do it all over again. But can I just say this? And the reason why I'm telling you this is that if your mind is fixed on the solution, you will get the solution. You know what? All I did is I did 6 3-minute videos, and then I sold one of the books. It was for parents and their kids. I sold this book as an e-book because we couldn't mail stuff. Now, this book is, we teach the grandparents, if they have grandchildren, and the parents who have children between the age of, say, 3 and 7 years. It's stories. We are talking about rooi roelf and groen gogga and blauw skarpie. And then you read to the kids and then they say, oh, Mama, I'm Dr. Yellow, or I am Red Wolf. And then at the very end, I've given you the profile. It's my colleague, I've got a partner in this business, Antoinette Stein. She's very forward. She has a specific temperament. Only God help me. But she has, luckily, she has changed a lot. No, she really wanted to, because otherwise we would have stopped the business. Sonia knows. Maar Sonjatjie sê baie verander jong, maar die sê toegelaat dat die Here haar verander, jy weet. And then at the very end, I tell you how does the profile of the different children look like, and then I tell you if you are a green, because I do temperaments and colors. If you are a peaceful green person and you have a yappy yellow child, what do you have in common, but what is it that you do not have in common? And I just sold this book at a good price, and I did the tests for only 50 Rand. You know how I was blessed my very first month? 136,000 Rand. Why? It's not because I'm so great. It's because what I said to myself is, Lynette, you can do anything. If you believe you can make it, you will make it. Because I realize that every hour that I'm going to focus on the negative, the negativity will pull me down. And I will lose my business. But I cried about that for 3 weeks. Julle kan julle dink as ek geweet het dit gaan 'n jaar en 'n half wees. Luckily I didn't know it. Whoa. Now let's go on. Every time when you think a negative thought, you need 5 positive thoughts to cancel that one negative thought. People, you don't have time in your day, enough hours in your day to do that. So you have to know whenever a negative thought comes to your mind, you need to grab it immediately. You need to pull it out, and then you need to put a new thought in the place of the negative thought. So that you need to do, you need to do it consciously. You need to, every time it comes, you need to grab it and you need to say, it is part of who I am, of my sinful nature, to always see the cup half empty. I know who I am. My superpower is I know who I am. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. So this comes natural for me to first see things in a negative way. So I grab it, I pull it out, and I say to myself, what can I think differently that will be the solution rather than the problem. What? And then I need to do that. Do you know that 25% mental and physical illness, people that ends up in Vista or some other clinic, I don't know the clinics here, but 25%, only 25% of people that ends up there is because of the environment and their genes. I feel sorry because they had no say in that. It happened. It's something that happened here, which they have no control over. I really feel sorry for them. But you know what saddens my heart is this. 75% of mental, physical, and behavioral illness comes from our own thought life. We do it to ourselves. How sad is that? We do it because nobody has taught us how important it is to think right. You need to think before you think. You need to stop thinking before you think. Otherwise, your life will fall apart, your business will fall apart, but the thing about this is your children and your... Ek kry nou baie jammer oor dit, Marius. Ek het daai dinge iewers op 'n ander plek. Rian, jy lyk soos 'n ekskuus, Rian. Het ek nie gisterand ook vir jou gesê, Marius? Hæ? Rian, ek is so jammer. Ek is jammer. Rian. Ag, hy kan vir my Marius, is hoekom nie. Ek het my kop nou so op Marius, jy's nou Marius. Luister nie. Sorry man. Jong, as mense mos vir my debeer, dan dink ek, ag jong, wat maak dit saak? Ja, maar nietemin. You know what we don't know or realize is whatever we think affects our emotions. And people see it. I remember that December month, when the president said, no, there's no option of going to the beaches. Lots of people packed their cars to come back. We realized that we need to be an example for our kids. And my godchild was there. And we realized we will stay. Because when things get tough, you don't just pack your car and you go. Whatever goes on in your life as a parent, as a grandparent, you have other eyes that are looking at you, and they will get stronger because of the fact that you are strong. And how will they learn how to be resilient if they cannot see resilience in our behaviors? And if you are not resilient, then please don't feel bad about it, because if nobody has taught you that, it is because of the sick cycle of negativity. And unfortunately, the greater part of the brain takes up more space when we think negative thoughts. So there's hardly place for a positive thought. Rian? Ek gaan my nou reg kry. Ek is besig om my gedagtes nou reg te kry. Repetitive thoughts. So, can you understand that you cannot just allow your thinking to overrule your emotions? Because you become your thinking. Of all the things in life you can protect, it's not your car, it's not your jewelry, it's not your clothes. By the way, this must go back tomorrow, it's on April. But, ek lieg man, ek lieg. But what I want to say, it's not about our clothes. It's not about our jewelry. It is all about our thinking. And a very wise man, Solomon, said, of all the things, your thoughts are the most important. Every time when I fly and I have to put my stuff through the scanner machines or the whatever, I always think how we protect our stuff. But we think whatever we want to think. Man, if only you can leave here not thinking the way you thought before you came in, unless you are very positive and you have the hold, the handle on whatever thought comes to your mind and it's negative, you take it out and you put a new one in. You need to be very careful of the people that you gin with. Who gin? Can I just see you? Who are gin lovers? Don't we have gin lovers? Ja! Moenie so skynheilig wees, jong. Julle gaan nie op die kamera kom, julle gesigte kyk die kant toe. You need to be very careful of the people you bride together. You have Tupperware parties together. You have to be careful because when I am in your presence, I become you. It was so lovely. They took me out last night to a very grand restaurant. Yeah.
Ginger.
Huh?
Ginger.
Ginger. Ons het nie geginger by ginger nie. Maar nietemin. But you know what? Being in their presence was good for me. I hope that I can say the same.
Definitely.
Oh, Rian! No, yeah. You see, when we are together, whether it's for 1 minute or an hour, I always need to leave you a better person that I found you. And you need to do the same for me. So what we do is we uplift one another all the time. I make an effort that when you leave me, you will be positive. So whatever I will say to you is, I will help you. You must know people in the industry, in all industries, if they found a good recipe for success, they don't want to share it with other people. Huh? Ken julle sulke mense? Is dit niks sleg, jong? Ken jy sulke mense? Pragtig. Don't be like that. You know, one thing I've learned in my life, not early. People always say, I've learned this early in my life. Ek het dit baie laat geleer. If God wants to bless you, He will bless you. If He wants to bless me, He will bless me. Don't talk other people down to uplift you. Because if He wants to bless you, He will bless you anyhow. So I help people, I bless people wherever I can. Hoorie, jy lyk Neskert se vrou, jong. Kurt Darren, do you know Kurt? Do you know Kurt Darren? Is dit 'n insult nou?
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like.
Nee, beautiful. Is dit nie? Jy lyk nie sy jong. Ek het gedink sy het ingevlieg vandag. But lovely. Yeah.
Just us, we perfectly fine.
Good. Good attitude. Nee, jy lyk, sal ek net so sê? Ja. Okay. Ek moes dit nie, I had to get it out of my thought space. Right, so what you need to understand is I have different friends in my life. When I really just want to relax, I have a friend by the name of Vanessa. You know Vanessa. Rof. Sê die goed soos dit is. Raf. En nee, dis nie daai ene nie. Nee, sy's ordentlik. Hierdie enetjie is maar she's
Sy's ook so.
is jy ook so? Jy sien, you have to kuier with me. You can relax with him. There's no pretensions. They are not pretentious. They love, they say whatever they want to say. And then I have a friend that is like a philosopher. If I really want to get deep, I care with her. And when I really want people to uplift me out of God's word, there are other people like Sonia. She uplifts me always. Always something positive, hope that I can cling on to. People, you have a responsibility when you meet with people, not to focus on the negative things in life, but to uplift them. The beautiful thing is that in the process where you uplift other people, you uplift yourself. Always know this, that who we are, 95% of who we are, is because of the influence of other people in our lives. I'm so grateful for good people in my life. But you know what? I choose them wisely. Because time is precious. So if I braai or if I coffee with you, it must be worth it at the end of the day, that the investment that you make into my life and the investment that I make into your life. And then I remember many years ago, I had this friend, she called me Alicia many years ago, and she said to me, Netta, I really need you. So I went there. And after about 2 hours, she walked me to the car. She said, well, I'm glad that one of the two of us feel better now. You see, it was never about me. She needed me. But I was so full of myself that it was always about myself. Never let it be about yourself when you're with other people. Unless you need them and you told them, please, I need an ear. I need you to help me. I need information. Then. But otherwise, we need to focus on other people more. I don't know why it's not you. No, it's not you. Ek maak net so. Net so. Dan maak ek so. Dan werk dit nog steeds nie. Ek laat ek so druk. I'm busy losing it now. That's right. Okay. You see, that is why Solomon, who is very wise, he says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Be very aware of whom you are spending your time with. And if you have people that are very negative, don't just push them away. First try to uplift them, help them. And then if they don't want, then you need to move on. Otherwise, those people will consume you and they will tire you. But first try to help them. If you can't, then you refer them to other people. But you can't let them keep you back all the time. Do you know that we live our lives 95% of the time, we live it in our subconscious. We only live, and this is a sad thing, we only live our lives 5% in the moment of now. Now, just think while you were listening now to me, or think of other, maybe you focus now because you want to hear if I say Rian's name and not Marius. But just think how many times you were sitting and listening to somebody, and then your thoughts wandered. That means that people battle to be present in the moment. You're not in the flow. Because as you are sitting here, you think of your kids and your grandkids that you need to pick up, and you need to still do that. Don't be like that, because life will pass you. Just try to be in the flow of the moment. Listen, drink it in. So, this I never knew. This I didn't know for many, many years of my life. Ek is nou 58, hoe lyk ek vir jou, meneer? Ek moet nou versigtig wees, as hierdie mense verbind aan jou. O, mama, hoe lyk ek nou, papa?
Baie beter as laas.
Vertik. Nee, ek het 'n bietjie gewig verloor. Ja, het jy my al voorheen gesien?
Ja.
Wragtig. Okay, dankie vir die compliment. Maar luister, I never knew that the brain, your brain doesn't know, right? They doesn't know facts from fiction. Huh? In other words, here your brain lies. It means nothing. Even though it's very powerful, once you've fed it. But your brain cannot make a decision between facts and fiction. So, the most important thing that you need to understand is whatever you feed your brain will fire or trigger the emotion inside of you, and that emotion will become an action, and that action will have a reaction. So, can you understand that here your brain lies, waiting for you to tell him what to do? So, if you walked in this morning and you looked at me, is that nou sy? Google this lady. Ricky, Google this lady. What message did you give your brain just now? I don't think I like her. When you get to a client and that client has a specific temperament and you don't understand temperaments, what will you do? You will make assumptions. Now you've gone, even before you've started, before you made an assumption about this client, which influences the way you think, which influences your emotions, and that will definitely come forward in your actions. So you better be very careful of what you think. Because the moment you think something, or the moment you say something, it feeds the brain. How do you feel? Nee, ek is nie lekker nie. What is the message your brain got? I'm not feeling good. But you need to always be honest because you can't lie. You can't live a life like that. So I can say to you, you know what, I really don't feel well. But man, I'm fired up for this session. So what is the last part of the brain? So I was honest with you, but the last message my brain got was, I am fired for this. You know what? I hardly slept last night. But here I am, and I'm seeing 3 clients today. I can't wait for good results today. What are you feeding your brain? With positive stuff. So whatever comes from your mouth, you need to regulate it. You need to make a decision that because my brain doesn't know the difference between facts and fiction, I will guide my brain. Now this is how it works. This is a very simple way to explain it. If you are a psychiatrist or a medical doctor or whatever, psychologist, don't judge me before I'm done. This is a very simple way of explaining the brain. Now, we all are born and we have a hind brain. This brain is our fight and flight brain. Now, this brain is a good brain. This brain tells us, don't put your finger on a hot plate because you will burn. So you won't. All of your life, this hind brain has taken photos and filed it in your hind brain. Everything that happened to you, video clips are filed here, voice clips are filed here. You can, at any point of the day, you can recall anything in your life that you can remember. When you had your matric dance, when you got engaged, when your mum passed away, whatever good, exciting experiences you can recall. The moment you recall things from the hindbrain, it sends a message to your midbrain, which is your emotional brain. Now, your emotional brain is 80,000 times faster than your forebrain. This forebrain is so important because in the forebrain there's a lobe. Now that lobe processes all the information from the side. But remember I told you that unfortunately what happened is that we live 95% of the time in this part of the brain. Hindbrain, emotional brain. Hindbrain, emotional brain. When we do get emotional, we make quick decisions in this part of the brain. Instead of taking that emotion here and push it over so that the forebrain can process it. So now I work with Rian. Rian has a different temperament from mine. Now our temperaments in general, they feel embarrassed with us, with me. Because perfect, do everything right, say the right things, use the perfect words. Me, just say whatever comes in my mind. Does it sound familiar? So now I get very excited because I found a great client. And I'm all over him, and I say to the client, I will do it and I will give them 30% discount. He goes like, what? Because in his mind, there's no discount. The service we do is the best. People pay for the best. But for me, I just want to give away. Now, because of who I am, what did he just do to me? Hy het nou, en nou gaan ek iets sê wat ook nie vir hom lekker is nie, as ek het gaan sê nie. Maar dis wie ek is. Hy het nou so pas op my battery gepiepie. Because I'm so excited. And poops. So I don't like what he said. But now, what do? We operate in this sphere of the brain. You know what? You never get excited when I'm excited. And I think this is a good client and we can get a lot of mileage because we will lose 30% now. But over a year, we will make it back. We do things like that. Am I right? We get emotional. If I have learned to control my mind, I could have said, oh my word, this is his temperament. Just leave him for the moment. To be excited, to be spontaneous does not come for him easy. Sorry, ek gebruik jou nou, Rian, maar jy's 'n smart man, jong. Kyk, as jy nie getroud was, het ek vir jou gegaan. Andrietjie, jy weet ek maak 'n ou grappietjie nie. Ek en jy kyk mos deur dieselfde venstertjie. Maar jy sien. Maar wat ek nou wil sê. Jesus, ek moet nie so naby hom staan nie. Ek gaan net 'n bietjie weg staan. What I want to say is that if you have knowledge, you can reinvent yourself. Even when you are in relationships, you don't have to allow other people's behavior to upset you. But you need to have knowledge, otherwise you will always be here where you need to operate there. So whenever I get excited, he will not get excited like I am because it's how he is wired, differently from mine. But it doesn't mean that he is not excited. I have a brother and I gave him a gift one year that he really wanted. He went like this, oh, sissy, I really wanted this for many, many years. I thought, just get excited, Boetie. But you see, it's not who he is. Doesn't mean that he is not excited. But that liberates you in your mind. And it doesn't steal your joy. You must understand that our joy is our strength. And if we only focus on things that people do wrong, according to us, not because it is wrong, it's just because it's not how we want it to be, doesn't mean that it is wrong. It steals our joy. And we focus so much on how to change other people that we hardly live our lives. So, you see, to operate there, you need to do something. You need to stop and think before you act. You cannot just say stuff that you want. You need to stop, think, and then say. In the process that you think, you also need to make sure that you operate from the platform of light and not darkness. When you operate from the platform of darkness, it is always about you. Your desires, your ways, your thinking patterns. But with this goes the ego. And ego is always selfish. We really need to get to a point in our lives where when things happen to us, we need to force ourselves here by stop, think before we act, and then I need to force myself to the platform of light. The platform of light says, it's not only me in this relationship. In this business deal, it's not only me, there are other people as well. And the more I uplift you, the more you will do the same with me. We do this. We consider one another. I think, how can I help you? You think, how can you help me? And in the process, we're moving together to the end goal, to achieve. But you see, to do this, to move from there to there, you need 5 seconds, at least 5 seconds. In the moment stuff. Because relationships are very important. But the most important thing that the enemy of this world is focusing on is relationships. Because if we can have a misunderstanding, the relationship cuts. But relationship is the most important thing. To be successful, to be driven, to be energetic, I need to have good relationships. Therefore, I cannot make assumptions about people. Because the moment I make an assumption, it fills the bigger part of my brain, which is negative. And when I feel negative, when I think negative, my emotions get triggered in a negative way. Then my actions become negative, and we just move apart from one another. And to be successful, we need one another. So we need to stop. From there, we need to say, Loop, come in. Loop, kom nou in. Please come in. Now, it doesn't help you say, Loop, come in. I need to do the following. When there's a situation, I need to stop, and I need to think, and I need to say to me, Andri is the same as me. She is so yellow. Temperament, you'll understand it now. That's the second part. Andri has a yellow temperament mixed with a lovely, powerful red temperament. Papa has a perfect blue temperament, and I think if you push him too far, it will become red. Is it reg? Yeah. So you share the red. It's both your secondary temperaments. But the yellow and the blue is so totally different. Because she focuses on the relationship, he focuses on the task. And if you don't understand that, you can easily miss one another, you can easily make assumptions, and when you deal with a powerful red temperament, you can never tell the red temperament, but you know the best. Because they know the best. They will never say they're sorry, because why must they say they're sorry? Because they always do things right, according to them. If they do feel sorry about something, they will go like this, Ek maak koffie, wil jy koffie hê? It's the best they can do to say that they're sorry. But you see, when I am in a relationship, I need to understand that my emotional brain always overrides, always overtakes, because it comes natural, because your brain gets filled more with the negative stuff than the positive stuff. But when I stop, when I think, and when I'm operating from light, I say to myself, I am relationship orientated. You are task orientated. Let me just think why you say that. Don't fight and say, ja, maar, Rian, you are right. It's true, 30% is a lot of money. But what do you think, or do you think we will be able to recoup that money in a year's time? What I didn't tell you is that they're going to refer these people and these people and these people to us. Don't you think? I don't know. Because remember, he's red also. Don't tell him what to do. Say to him, you said something that made me think. Yeah? What is that? You see, red people want to be the person who told you so. So when you have knowledge, you can stand in the relationship. But if you don't have the knowledge, the fact that you lack knowledge will kill your business, will kill your relationships with your clients as well. There's a way that you deal with the different temperament clients, we will get there. But every single second, when you start with the relationship, you need to understand, you need to finish that relationship. You need to finish that conversation. You need to make sure that you do it in love and in unity. There must be harmony. Because now is the moment of your truth. Now. Whatever you do now, you have to stop, you have to think before you act. There's another relationship, you did not finish it because, for what reason? Another one, you went well and you did also not finish it. Have you ever got, at the end of the day, to a stage where you didn't feel well, you didn't feel good? And then you ask yourself, what happened? And then if you track it back, you can always relate it to a broken relationship or a conversation that wasn't finished or a phone that was put down. Am I right? It's always about relationships. So therefore, you need to always understand that whatever you do, the moment you say something, it is your moment of truth. But this moment of truth, seconds later, it becomes your past. Milliseconds later, it becomes your past. Now, if you take all those broken relationships and it lies in the past and you don't deal with it, what happens? It makes you depressed. You don't feel well. Some people have broken relationships of 10 years back, 20 years back. You will never live a joyful life. You will never be really enthusiastic about life because all you do is you think back and you allow yourself to go back into your hindbrain and think about those things that makes you depressed. Rather, deal with it, put it behind you. Forgive people. Move on. Think differently about them. If they have done you wrong, took money from you, never gave it back, if they, because of their behavior, you had to get divorced, whatever happened to you, forgive them. Because those broken relationships, whenever you think, I'll explain it now. Your brain releases toxic, if it's negative, toxic stuff into your body. Sickness doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. And you think yourself sick. You can't think yourself sick, but you can think yourself healthy as well. But now does not only influence your past, it also influences your future. Now, when you don't do what you need to do here, what do you get? You fear, you get anxiety. I didn't do my listings. I didn't follow up on my clients. It is now the 26th or the 27th of the month. I will not get money. How will I pay my car? How will I pay my bond? Because maybe you did not operate in the moment of now. That was the moment of truth. And now you need to understand whatever you do now will catch up to you in the future. What you don't do, whatever you've done will lie in your past. So you will, lots of people live between depression and anxiety. They hardly ever live in the moment of truth, which is now. To live in the moment of now, you need to be very careful of what you are thinking. Because what you are thinking will determine where you will end up in your life. Now this Darwin, he lived in the 1800s. He said, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Are you willing to adapt the way you think? Because if you can do that, you will be able to fly. If you want to change your life, you need to change your thinking. So we all are born, and I'm nearly out of time. It's 5 to 11. Wanneer maak ek klaar? Geef vir my tyd.
Ja, you can carry on till about 5:10.
Okay, good, thank you. Is dit reg met julle? Ag, die baas het gepraat. Nee, sit. Listen to this. We are all born. God said to Jeremiah, I thought of you before you were in the womb of your mother. I had a plan for your life. God's plan for Jeremiah was to be the prophet of the nations. He was the prophet of the nations because he lived his purpose. Lots of people in this world die unfulfilled. You know, the richest place on this planet Earth is not the oil fields of Iraq, nor the diamond fields of South Africa. It is the cemetery. Because lying in the cemetery are lots of businesses that were never opened. Never started. Lots of paintings that were never painted. Lots of songs that were never sung. Lots of poems that were never set to book. Because people never knew who they were. You need to know who you are. Because what will pull you through when you are in the storms of life? Knowing yourself. Knowing that there are things that I can do, but there are things that I cannot do. I had a conversation with my dear friend Sonia, and then she said to me, "Ag Nita, dit is so lekker vir my om Rian te bel, want he knows things that I don't know." You see, when you know who you are, but you also know who other people are, then you can work together. Don't ever try to be who you are in life on your own. We are not made to be on our own. I need you in the business, because if you have a temperament different from mine, I will get to a client like you. So I need to sit with you and I need to say, I see this client. How would you want me to approach this? And I always say, in sales, you cannot have one sales pitch. Don't be upset with me if you're a principal or somebody today. But you see, you cannot sell to me the same way that you sell to Rian. Because he gets triggered by different things. You can invite me back for that presentation. So you see, David said, "Wow, I was in the womb of my mother. God woven me together." So here you are sitting, here I am standing. God also had a dream for our lives. And we have all of these wiring within us. Here it is. You are either a yappy yellow person or a raving red or a groovy green or a brilliant blue. That's who you are. But you are all four. Jy kan hierdie boekie koop. Ek sien dat julle van julle wil skryf. Let maar liewers op, man. Kyk hierdie boekie, lekker kredietkaartmasjienkie daar agter, kredietkaartmasjien if you want. But this is the book you need. If you read, you will rather want the other one. Where did I put? Is it with you? Ek het hom vir jou gegee, Sonja, dis reg. Ek wil net gou gewys. This is it feels like a thick book, but it's actually thinner than that one. That one is more detailed. This one I did for the red people, you know? It's just a thicker paper, but it's coloring. So the red people can go like this. Wat het daai vrou nou weer gesê? Oh, how do I need to work with this green one? My genade. I never knew that. Ooh, that's why she's acting like that. She doesn't have a low self-esteem, it's just a temperament. You see, we judge people. Do you know what? The red and the yellow people, they constantly are opinionated. The blue and the green people are constantly judgmental. The sinful nature has done it to us. If you don't know it, you'll keep on doing that. Don't feel bad because if nobody told you this, then don't feel bad about it. What I want you to understand is that people are born either extroverts or introverts. The one is not better than the others. We are just different in our behavior. So the red and the yellow people are born extroverts, while the blue and the green people are born introverts. But the blue and the green are more analytical people. They say that the blue people are the most intellectual. It doesn't mean that the others are not clever. It means just that those people are very intellectual. Their values are very high, but they battle in life because they cannot believe that other people cannot think. Have you ever heard that? It's those people that will say to you, "Maar jy kan mos gedink het, man. Kan jy nie dink nie?" But you know, the funny thing is they don't try to be rude. It's just how it comes across. The yellow people, they say you never have to wonder who is yellow. You will hear them from a distance. It's those people that will come into the room. Hello, hello, hello. They hug you, they kiss you. Jong, jy sop nat gesoen as hulle met jou klaas. But it's just who they are. They love people. Blue people say, don't touch me. Red people will walk into your personal zone. And the more you walk back, the more they will come forward. Because that's who they are. But the red and the blue people are totally task-orientated, while the yellow and the green are totally relationship-orientated. Now, you have all four temperaments, but one of them, the highest, if you test it, you can do the test. It's www.lynettebeer.co.za, 200 randjies. If you do the test, then at least you will know you're 60% there, 25% there, 1% there, whatever. You will know when you work together what the people are. Because when I deal with Sonja, she's first green. Peaceful, green. She doesn't like to fight. She doesn't like conflict. Whenever she feels, she will say, Frans, los it now. Just leave it now. She always wants to protect. Esty and the father is so red. Now it's challenging for Sonja. Because it's not the window that Sonja looks at life or people at all. I don't have the time, because this is like a full day course or half day course. I don't have the time. If you can, get the book. It will help you a lot. I just want to tell you, if you want to reinvent your life, you also need to know your clients. You need to know whether you work with an extrovert or an introvert. You need to know that when you sit with these clients, that you need to be more personal. So if you are this side, you need to become them. You need to become a chameleon. Whenever I deal with a green or a blue, I turn my voice down. You have to turn down your voice. You need to speak slower. They are analytical. They need to understand. They want to know, how old is the company? How long are you working there? They want to feel safe. And if you don't have this knowledge, you cannot give them reassurance. And if they don't feel comfortable, they will not choose you. If they say to you that the appointment is 10 and you are green and yellow, the possibility that you will be late is like 99.9%. Now get to a red or a blue and you're late. They don't want to listen. You've already put up a barrier before you've even started. Don't do that. It's so important that when you deal with your clients that you will always speak into their temperaments. Now you will say to me, ja, Lynette, how can I test all my clients before I go to them? No, man. Read the book, get knowledgeable. You'll be able to see. Extrovert, introvert. You always ask, is this a person an extrovert or an introvert? And then the second question, are they task-orientated or are they relationship-orientated? It's actually within the first 5 minutes you'll be able to know. But you know, you buy from people and you do business with people that you feel comfortable with. That's more or less on the same level. Now I always say, if you don't feel like something, act it. Act it. Because you know what happens? In the act, it eventually becomes a reality. It does. Because when you first start, you don't feel like it, you act it, and then if you find yourself, you're away. So I don't have time. Unfortunately, my time has now expired, but I would have loved to talk about this, and then also this, and this, and this, and this. But I think it's good enough for today. You can really invite me again. I would love to come. It was lovely to share with you. Also the people online, thank you so much for listening. Of all the things you can protect in your life, your thoughts are the most important. Every hour you think 3,000 thoughts. Make sure it's good, positive thoughts that will stir your emotion in a positive way, that will bring positive actions to the front. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lynette. That was really, really inspirational. I think we know these things, and sometimes we need to be reminded and just hear a fresh insight and so on. And I think we all, as we've said from our first session, we want the people to go home with one or two fresh thoughts and one or two things they're going to make adjustments to in their own life. And I think you've given us a lot. It will be difficult to choose that one thing. On that note, I want to call Tia forward from OOBA. Thank you so much again for the generous sponsorship from OOBA to enable us to host these mornings. Please support our partners, and then we're just going to do the lucky draws. We also got a lucky draw from Edward from Rodel, so just keep that in mind as well. Okay. So Tia, you can just draw one, and this is for a Woolies voucher from Rodel. Heidi Douglas. And then for our online crowd, Noluwiu Dekiso. Then the next one from our studio audience. Cheryl Botha. One of our online listeners, Lydia Grobler. We'll make sure that we deliver all the online audiences gifts for them. Brenda Campbell. Last online one. Sue Fraser. This is the final studio one. Justin Kreutz. I'm not sure. I don't think he's here. Kirsty de Tooy. Thank you so much for everybody for attending, for making these mornings worthwhile. We couldn't do it without your support as agents. And I really wish you well for the last 2 months of the year. Work hard. We hope that the business will still keep flowing. And if you need any support from our side, we believe it will always be there for you. Thank you so much.